With that, we are going to welcome in the More Money duo. Matt Moore, J Money, Action Network, NBA contributors. Little game of buy or sell with a 9-game slate on this Wednesday in the NBA. Let's start with a bigger picture topic. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Matt Moore, buy or sell, number 1 seed in the West. They are tied right now atop the West with Denver, but they have that head-to-head series win, 3-1.
Yeah, that series matchup, head-to-head tiebreaker is going to matter quite a bit here. I think the Thunder will be the ones that I'm buying this. They're less injury conditional. If anybody on the Nuggets is missing out of that starting five, they are not the same squad. Now, they're all under 30, except for KCP is getting up close to it, so they should be all right there. But in general, the Thunder also are probably going to push for this. They've also been a more consistent team than the Nuggets, and we've seen that even recently where the Nuggets had a 39-point lead versus the Jazz, got down to 15 before they closed it out. Then they were down double digits at half to the Raptors, had to storm back in that one. Those are not good teams. The Nuggets are going to take their foot off the pedal a little bit here. I expect the Thunder to push through the end of the season and secure the number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
J Money, buy or sell, Thunder, 1 seed in the West.
Well, I'm going to buy it mainly because I need SGA to win MVP, and I think that they have to get the number 1 seed in order for him to get that. But they're a younger team, and they don't really have a ton of playoff experience. So they're one of the teams that's going to go all in on the regular season. Then after a while, after a few years of getting put out, possibly in the first or second round of playoffs, they'll realize that they need to taper off towards the end of the season. But right now, they're not looking at that. They're looking at, like, let's try to get the best possible record, get the number 1 seed. And obviously, they're a young team as well. And so I feel like that they're going to go all in on trying to get the number 1 seed towards the end of the season.
And to avoid Denver in a Western Conference Finals, avoiding playing in Denver for the majority of that series would be beneficial, I think, right? One of the best home court advantages, if not the best in the NBA. Let's go to the East. Here's one for you. The Bucks, Matt Moore, will make a deep postseason run. Buy or sell a Milwaukee. They've won 7 of their last 10.
I'm selling as hard as possible. I
Okay.
do not understand where people are getting to with this team. Look, they went on this West Coast road trip, but they got torched by the Clippers and they got torched by the Kings. They got torched by all these teams. And that's fine. They're on the West Coast road trip. But if you really kind of pay attention game by game, the chemistry and the continuity is not there. A lot of this, I think, just has to do with the fact that Damian Lillard never asked to be there. He never asked to be there. And you can tell he's been pretty open about the fact that he's not in a great place mentally. That's not great. You want everybody pulling on the same page. I think it's hard for Damian in the situation. He's trying to make the best of it. He's had some great games, but he's not consistent anymore. He's not the same kind of guy. Finally, their defensive scheme is so vulnerable. They're playing this drop coverage. That's fine when you have Drew Holiday coming over the top of the screen, able to contest on these guys. But they have Damian Lillard doing that now. Their best perimeter defender is Malik Beasley. Are we serious here? They're going to have to face teams like the Knicks with Jalen Brunson, the Heat with Jimmy Butler. They're going to have to face these squads that have guys that punish that kind of coverage. And the Bucks have simply not been consistent enough defensively this season. Everyone's just kind of like, oh, it's the Bucks. They're back there. Giannis has been better than ever. I'm not denying that. But this Bucks team is old. They are old and they are fragile and they do not have a good bench. And on top of all of it, you have Doc Rivers. Why do you want to be buying in on Doc Rivers, playoff coach? I'm out. I'm selling on the Bucks.
Yeah, so I would think a deep run would be a conference final, right? Conference final or NBA final. That's what it consists. There's no true definition, but that to me is a deep run. J Money, they've got Philly and Phoenix coming up at home. They're next to in Boston. Thunder come to their building. Lakers. Like, this is a good little stretch here for them to maybe figure it out some more, but that's been the story of the Bucks. When will they figure it out? Buy or sell a deep playoff run for Milwaukee?
I think they've had a tough West Coast road trip, went up against some tough teams, but we could still tell that they've playing a lot better basketball when they reach their ceiling, when everything is clicking. As you can see them coming out of the All-Star break, winning 6 straight games and covering all 6 of those games as well, straight out of the All-Star break. So I still buying on the Bucks as long as they got Giannis out there. He's still one of the most unstoppable players in the NBA. The pick and roll with him and Damian Lillard is almost unstoppable. I still think they're the second or third best overall team in the Eastern Conference as well. I still think that they could possibly make it to the Eastern Conference Finals as well. It doesn't really matter what we see in the regular season. All matters about in the postseason. I know Doc Rivers isn't the best postseason coach, but I still think that they could possibly make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I feel like they're the team that gives the Celtics the most pushback, in my opinion, here. And most of all, I think that they win 8 of their next 11 games and shut up all of their naysayers. So I'm still buying on the Bucks as long as they got Giannis and Dame healthy.
Okay, some fair disagreement. and look, hey, the East is down. So if they really should, at the end of the day, whether you like them or not, they should be in the conference finals. I mean, the East is down and it's injured and they should be there. But if they don't get there, then it's a fail. Let's go back to the Western Conference. D'Angelo Russell, who was a big name at the trade deadline and had that powerful post-game interview. He's like, I didn't really know what was going to happen. He comes out and he's really been balling lately. X factor for the Lakers lately. Matt Moore, D'Angelo Russell is an X factor for the Lakers postseason push, buy or sell.
You want to know how we know that the Bucks are not a real team that you should take seriously, despite everything Jay says? They gave up 44 points to D'Angelo Russell. Oh, wait, is it March already? Oh, we're talking about D'Angelo Russell again, the 6th best player on the 9th best team in the Western Conference. Great. We've done this so many times. How many times are we going to do this? Look, there are 82 game players and there are 16 game players. D'Angelo is a perfectly fine 82 game player. He can come off the bench, give you some points. He'll have nights where he hits a bunch of threes. Congratulations. In the playoffs, it is different, and we've seen it over and over and over again. His on-court impact is actually worse for the Lakers than it was last year. If you look at how the team has performed with him and without him, it's been considerably worse this season. Teams are going to target him. This is the reality. Like, this is what the Nuggets did with Bruce Brown. Like, this is why, like, they clowned him and said, like, they dared it. Like, they openly said, like, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can even play him in this series. And they couldn't. Serious teams are going to play him off of the floor. Maybe the Lakers luck out and they get a stretch versus a team in Memphis who had no bigs, or the Warriors who were exhausted after a 7-game series with the Sacramento Kings. But if they face actual serious playoff teams, they're going to target D'Lo and they're going to play him off the floor. D'Lo is a perfectly fine regular season player. He is having a great career. He is a perfectly fine NBA player. He is not a serious NBA postseason contributor. Get out of here with that. We can be serious here.
Jay Money, D'Angelo Russell, is he an X factor for a Lakers postseason push? Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm buying. I do think he's an X factor. When this guy is playing at his offensive ceiling, when he's in his groove and knocking down threes, it's really hard to stop the Lakers, mainly because they have a lot of other weapons as well. And they play really great defense. They just need somebody to pick up the offense. And I really like what they did with Spencer Dinwiddie as well, can kind of hide D'Lo out there as well. But I felt the same way when D'Angelo Russell was in Minnesota as well. They need him to be the greatest the greatest offensive, his greatest offensive self for them to reach their peak. So I'm still buying on D'Lo, and like I say, when he goes crazy in those Lakers games, that's when they really have a great chance to win. And when he's not playing well, that's when they lose. So I think as far as talking about him being the X factor, I am buying on Russell being the big X factor for the Lakers.
You know what I like about that last buy or sell is we're going to get some validation of it tonight. The Lakers are in Sacramento, and they were in a spot where they hosted Sacramento, had a great first quarter last week, and then they plummeted, and they were not great. Lakers are right now the 9. Sacramento Kings are the 7 seed in the West. So they're neck and neck, 2-game gap in the play-in tournament. Jay Money, I'll start with you. You've got the Lakers tonight. Why?
Yeah, I'm rocking with the Lakers here on the money line. As you said, this is a huge game for them. They only sit 2 games back of the Sacramento Kings. So if you do beat them tonight, that gives you a whole game jump on the Kings there. You hand them a loss and you get a win as well. And this is a other big spot as well. They had just led the Kings by 17 points at the house in the first quarter and ended up losing that game 130-120. So it's a bounce back J spot. It's a revenge game J spot as well. They've lost all 3 matchups versus the Kings this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, the Kings could beat them all 4 matchups, but I'm willing to bet against that every single time. Anytime a team has beat another team, all 3 of the first matchups, I'm always going to take them in the fourth matchup. It's not going to win every single time, but it's definitely going to win more than 70% of the time. So give me the Lakers here in a triple revenge spot here. They've lost all 3 matchups versus the Kings. I think they get this final one. It's a huge game for playoff implications. Let's go Lakers.
Yeah, a morale thing, but yes, the tiebreakers. Kings have the tiebreaker already with the 3-game lead, but yeah, maybe some morale boost for the Lakers. And hey, maybe D'Angelo Russell plays a part in it, because this is a kind of game where Jay Money is the buy or sell thing comes into play. If Russell's part of a winning formula in a big spot, which is basically a playoff game. Matt Moore, you're looking elsewhere tonight in the NBA. What do you got?
Yeah, let's go back to the well with Pelicans first half. Jay got me on this on buckets, and I've been writing it pretty consistently, and it's awesome. Pelicans are the 2nd best team in the league in the first half behind the Boston Celtics. They're 40-22 ATS first half. What you want to do with this line, though, is you want to wait. Donovan Mitchell is questionable. He's been upgraded from out to questionable. He was questionable last game with a late scratch with that injury he's been dealing with. See if he plays. If he plays, this number drops down, and you can get a better number on the Pelicans. I still like the Pelicans in this spot. First half, they've been so consistent. The Pelicans are really one of the better teams. The Cavs are also in a bad rest spot, so this is an even better spot for them. I like very much the Pelicans first half versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, but wait to make sure you get the best of the number. You can track that in the Action Network app.
2 games since Sunday for Cleveland, played a back-to-back, and now they're on the road in New Orleans, and they do get a couple days before they play Houston on Saturday. Matt Moore, Jay Money, find them on the Buckets podcast and Action Network app, covering all things NBA. Matt Moore, I'm a big fan of your the use of the phone prop. You always bring it with the props, man. It's good.